Good day, everyone. This is Twinkle Embascan and your first reporter for today. I am part of the Group 1 and we were going to discuss to you about the topic of PROVUS'S Discrepancy Evaluation Model known as DEM or DEM. So now let's start. Okay, so PROVUS'S Discrepancy Evaluation Model. So it has a Journal of Construction Education, summer 1998. There is a book of it. You can see that. You can find that. So the discrepancy evaluation model, which is DEM or DEM, developed in 1969 by a man who named Malcolm Provust in order to provide information for program assessment and program improvement. So he has a definition about evaluation. So for him, he defined evaluation as the process of agreeing upon program standards, determining whether it is a discrepancy exists between some aspect of the program and standards governing the aspect of the program, and using discrepancy information to identify weaknesses of the program. So for me, when I say evaluation, I think it is a way of assessing a student, learning a skill if the objective are actually attained. So that's why we give evaluation against to them. That is the reason to know if how far the learners learn or let's say effective. So the plan program is like how the plan program effective. So that is the reason why we give an evaluation. So now, under the DEM evaluation is defined as a comparison of an actual performance to a desired standard. Okay, so that's it. So now let's go to the next reporter. Thank you.
What is the purpose of evaluation? He stated the purpose of evaluation is to determine whether to improve, maintain, or terminate a program by Gredler 1996. His model is primarily a problem-solving set of procedures that seeks to identify weaknesses according to selected standards and to take corrective actions with termination as the option of last resort. With this model, the process of evaluation involves moving through stages and content categories in such a way as to facilitate a comparison of program performance with standards, while at the same time identifying standards to be used for future comparisons. In short, the Discrepancy Evaluation Model or DEM is a continuous information management process designed to serve as the watchdog of program management and a handmaiden of administration in the management of program development through sound decision making. The discrepancy model, simply put, examines the process of objective attainment and measures the gaps between what the intended outcomes and the actual outcomes are in order that changes may be made in the program to narrow the gap. This model also suggests that evaluation is a process which should pass through 5 developmental stages, which should be discussed onwards with my fellow reporters.
So now we are going to identify and elaborate the 5 specific stages of all programs presented by the PROVUS'S Discrepancy Evaluation Model. So this model suggests that evaluation is a process which should pass through 5 developmental stages, which are: first is the program definition stage, second, the program installation stage, third is the program process stage, fourth is the program product stage, and the last is the program comparison. So first is the program definition stage or the stage 1. So in program definition, it's where the purpose of the evaluation is to assess the program design by first defining the necessary inputs, processes, and output, and then by evaluating the comprehensiveness and internal consistency of the design. So evaluation stage 1 asks the question: is the program adequately defined? So here in stage 1, the discrepancy model begins with a meeting to work on an evaluator's program description, which all levels of program staff are invited and the large group is divided into smaller workable groups. So these groups respond to the questions developed by the evaluator to elicit their ideas and how their program is designed. The resulting description of the design is then compared to design standards, which may be devised by the sponsor or drawn from standards for the field or from some other source. The discrepancies that are observed, if any, between the standards and the developed design are communicated back to the staff for review and action. So that was what happened in the stage 1. Next is the program installation stage or the stage 2. So program installation is where the purpose of the evaluation is to assess the degree of program installation against stage 1 program standards. So here in stage 2, the question that was being asked is the program installed as defined in stage 1? So here, the evaluator can use the assess design in the installation or implementation stage as the standard with which to compare the program's operation. The evaluator looks with standards in mind at staff and at clients and how they move through the program. So a discrepancy evaluator's role is to determine the differences between what is and what should be. Again, this information is communicated back to the staff for any mid-course corrections. So that was what happened in program installation stage. So next is the program process stage or the stage 3. So in the program process, it's where the purpose of the evaluation is to assess the relationship between the variables to be changed and the process used to affect the change. In stage 3, the question that was being asked is, are the resources and techniques being used congruent with the goals of the program? So here in the process stage, there is a comparison between what is being accomplished by clients, staff, and others, and the interim products that were anticipated. Here, the evaluator communicates the degree to which these interim products have or will be achieved. So that was what happened in the program process stage. So next is the program product stage or the stage 4. So program product, it's where the purpose of the evaluation is to assess whether the design of the program achieved its major objectives. So finally, in stage 4, the question that was being asked is, are the program objectives achieved in the implementation? So in the product stage, the evaluator compares the degree to which the end products, for example, student learning, behavior change, and increased productivity, are in line with what were identified as anticipated end products in the original design. So here in this stage, the evaluator assesses if the major objectives in stage 1 or in the definition stage was being achieved in the program product stage. So next is the stage 5 or the program comparison. So in the final stage, cost evaluation, the evaluator compares the cost of similar programs having the same or a similar end product. Using the conclusions from this stage and perhaps from the product stage as well, sponsors can make a policy decision to continue or end the program. Usually, this final stage is referred to as return or investment or cost-benefit analysis. So we must remember that the first 4 stages are developmental in nature and designed to evaluate in a single program. However, the 5th stage, which PROVUS'S designated as optional, is the one that provides information for making comparisons with alternative programs. So the discrepancy model is useful to a program staff that is interested in and able to have an evaluator working with them from the outset of program operation.
PROVUS'S terminology defined, the following definition will be useful in understanding the evaluation which follows. First, enabling objectives. interviewing behaviors tasks which students must complete as a necessary basis for internal outcomes. So, enabling objectives should outline the sequence of learning activities for instruction phase of the lesson plan. They essentially outline steps necessary for a learner to acquire new skills and knowledge, leading to the performance level stated in the terminal objective. And they describe what the student must know and understand in order to achieve the terminal outcome. Well, writing enable objectives will stated that the expectations of the learning's performance. They will define the skills, knowledge, or the behaviors the learners must be reached in order to successfully complete the terminal outcome. Each enable objectives address a component of the terminal outcome and help track the learning's progress towards that objectives. The second is terminal outcomes. The behaviors clients are expected to demonstrate upon completion of the program. A terminal outcome is a statement in specific and measurable terms that describe what the learner will be able to do as a result of engaging in learning activity. A terminal outcome should be created for each of the tasks addressed in the learning program. The objectives should be focused at the highest level of learning an individual will accomplish by completing the learning event. Each written objective should include the task, performance, conditions, and the standards. Terminal outcomes describe results and not processes. The objective should be written from the perspective of what learning will be able to do at the end of the lesson seasons, and not what the instruction will teach. The third is design criteria. It contains a comprehensive list of program elements like input, process, output that become the standard of performance. The PROVUS'S discrepancy model provides a basics for evaluating program. PROVUS'S considers discrepancies to be essential clue in program evaluation. Discrepancies point out differences that exist between what program planners think is happening in the program and what's actually happening. PROVUS'S recommends that when discrepancy occur, either program performance or program design standard be changed. So PROVUS'S defines that evaluation as a tool to make a judgment on the advantages and disadvantages of an object based on the standards and performance. This model is also considered to use a development approach and is oriented towards system analysis. And discrepancy model is a way to capture and compare a student's scores in different types of tests and compares assessment of our child's intellectual ability with how much progress is making in school academic achievement. In some cases, there are many or significant discrepancy or difference between various sets of score. The idea is that when there is different like this or the evidence that underlying condition is making it usually hard for children to learn. So, this is the three important basic phrases in PROVUS'S model. First is discrepancy, mean differences. Second, program performance. What extension refers to as a program implementation, result, and or accomplishment. Third is program design standard, means objectives.
The discrepancy evaluation model can be visualized as ongoing cycle, as shown in Figure 1. So, PROVUS'S translate into extensionists. First is establish program design standards. So, to use discrepancy model, it should be divided which program to evaluate. In extensionists, it should be specify program objectives. Next is plan evaluation using the discrepancy model. In extensionists, you have to plan the evaluation based on objectives. So next is collect information of performance. It should be plan the evaluation using the discrepancy model. Information is needed to be collected. So in extensionist, collect information on program accomplishment. So fourth is identify discrepancy. Identify discrepancy, you have to follow the implementing plans to collect information. In extensionist, identify differences between program objectives and program accomplishment. Last, alter performance and or alter the standard. So in extensionist, modify program. So alter performance and alter the standard, identify discrepancies between program objectives and accomplishment. So that's all.
Hello, good day. My name is Lovely Grace Barco and this is my report. PROVUS'S Discrepancy Evaluation Model or DEM. Steps. To use the discrepancy evaluation model, you need to follow these steps. Step 1. Decide which program to evaluate. This might be letter A new program just being developed for introduction. Letter B, an ongoing program that may appear to be running out of steam. Or letter C, a program that seems to be working just fine but appears to have switched directions. So first things first, in order for us to evaluate something, we inevitably make comparisons. More specifically, we say that to evaluate a given object, or let's say a program, it must be compared to a standard. For example, when educators evaluate a reading program, they may be referring to deciding which several reading programs their school district should adopt. What are the advantages and disadvantages of other several school activities may be, and finding out how popular the said activity is among students and the faculty. Step 2. Determine objectives for the targeted program. In this stage, the PROVUS'S Discrepancy Evaluation Model is concerned with clearly defining objectives and then developing a plan to achieve those objectives. The emphasis is upon developing an operational plan which relies upon clearly defined specific objectives. We have questions to be asked for this step. Letter A. Are written objectives already available? B. As participants know it? Letter C. The advisory committee. And letter D. If there's any confusion about program objectives, get them clarified before proceeding. Involve several people and, if necessary, determine objective now, which PROVUS'S says is okay to do at this time if it hasn't already been done before, to establish the base against discrepancies that can be measured. The next step is plan the evaluation, or step 3. In this stage, planning of evaluation using the discrepancy evaluation model is done. We need to determine the information needed to compare the actual implementation with the standards that define the performance of the evaluation object. The idea is to pay attention to progress and then determine the initial impact or effect. There are also questions to be asked in this step. Letter A. What information do you need to know whether and how well objectives are being accomplished? Whatever is needed must be possible to collect and reasonable in terms of the work that collection entails. And letter B is how can you get at that? Who can help? Specialists often help with the developing evaluation plans and usually have advice and experience to share. Don't try to reinvent the evaluation wheel all by yourself. The next step is step 4, or follow through by implementing plans to collect information. It is the step where data collection and analysis stage, which helps to determine the level of target achievement of the outcome. The collection of program information is guided by what the DEM evaluator calls evaluation questions, such as whether what should be actually is, whether inputs are available as specified, whether processes are carried out as planned, and whether outcomes are being achieved as intended. The next step, which is step 5, identify discrepancies between project objectives and program accomplishments. It's where you compare the results with those achieved by other similar approaches, using the standard in making comparisons with the program performance to determine if there is a conflict. We can refer the questions below in order to perform this stage. Letter A, where do differences exist? And letter B, what have you learned about them, their causes, effect on program participants, or other pertinent information? And the last step, which is step 6, plan what to do next. In here, you should determine the cause of imbalance between the rules and the performance of the evaluation object. You can eliminate inequality by making changes to the implementation of the evaluation object. We also have a question to be asked in this step, which is, but which should change? Objectives or implementation? And that is for my report, and it will be continued with the other reporters. Thank you!
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Jillian Fresbataikan. The use of the PROVUS'S discrepancy model. The PROVUS'S model is most effective under the following circumstances. We have, first, when the type of evaluation desired is formal and the program is in the formative rather than summative stages. Second, when evaluation is defined as continuous information management addressing program improvement and assessment, and where evaluation is a component of program development. Third, where the purpose of evaluation is to improve, maintain, or terminate a program. Fourth, where the key emphasis of evaluation is program definition and program installation. Fifth, where the roles of the evaluator are those facilitator, examiner of standards, observer of actual behaviors, and design experts. Sixth, when at each stage of evaluation program performance is compared with the program objectives or standards and to determine discrepancies. Seventh, where the program evaluation procedure is designed to identify weaknesses and to make determination about correction or termination. 8. Where the theoretical construct is that all stages of programs continuously provide feedback to each other. And lastly, where the criteria for judging programs includes carefully evaluating whether A. The program meets established program criteria, B. The actual course of action taken can be identified, and C. A course of action can be taken to resolve all discrepancies, and that is according to Gridler 1996. So, the use of the PROVUS'S discrepancy model is kanang mostly effective siya under sa katong mga under sa 9 ka mga circumstances. For example, kung like the first one kanang kung ang type sa evaluation kay ang gina-desire is formal ug ang program pod is kanang dapat formative rather than summative, so ang PROVUS'S discrepancy kanang effective gina siya ana nga evaluation. So when kuan pod if where the purpose of ang purpose evaluation kay is kanang to improve or to maintain or kanang or terminate or bawasan ang program kung asa ang gina-emphasize ang key sa evaluation sa program definition o ang program installation, kung unsa og where is the roles of the evaluator kanang katong mga facilitator, examiner of standards, mga tag-observe sa actual behaviors ug ang mga tag-design expert, o kanang kung asa kanang ang program evaluation ang procedure nga unsaon pag-identify sa weakness ug unsaon paghimo sa mga determination about sa pag-correct or pag-terminate sa kana nga program. Og where the theoretical construct sa tanang stages sa program nga continuously nga naga-provide siya og feedback sa each other. Og katong mga ang asa ang kanang criteria for judging nga sa program nga naato dapat tong tulo kabuok nga naga-carefully evaluate siya, like the program meets the established program criteria. Kung unsa ang nasa program criteria dapat mao jud to nga mag-meet jud silang duha, ang program ug ang program criteria, and ang actual nga course of action nga nagtaken siya sa pag-identify sa a course of action can be taken to resolve all discrepancies, ang mga lack or pagkakaibahan.
Good afternoon everyone, my name is Hanami Tira Bintulan, and karong udtuha, ako ang natasan nga mag-report sa conclusion summary report nga PROVUS'S Discrepancy Evaluation Model by Malcolm PROVUS'S of 1971. Ang kini nga model kay natay 4 points nga dapat lang hinumduman. The first point, ang kini nga model kay is all about the program assessment and program improvement. The second point is that kini nga model na siya 4 stages of all program, namely program definition, program installation, and program process, and also program product. And the third point is that kini nga model kay nay mga questions in which kining questions and stages na tackle nila siya deeply sa ako ang ka-groupmates. And lastly, ang kini nga model kay more on comparison of actual performance og sa desired standard nga giset sa school. Ang kini nga model kay nindot kay siya kay naay involvement sa school staff in determining and using the evaluation criteria and standards, so that the role of the discrepancy evaluator is really important because kini siya ang ga-determine sa difference between what it is and what should be. And because of this evaluation, maka-come up ang school kung unsay decision nga unsay dapat nila buhaton, kung magdagdag ba silang program, kung na ba sila tanggalon sa ilahang program. And kini nga decisions kay dili lang siya nagdesisyon lang nga murag walay rason good. Kanang decisions kay na-come up siya sa related siya sa program design or analysis. Kaning decisions kay naga-concern po siya sa achievement of both intermediate and final goals. And kining decisions po kay more about siya sa program in operation. Actually, dili lang siya maojud nga points, katong upat ka points akong ginaingon nga dapat nato hinumduman. Actually, tanang gidiscuss ako ka groupmates, dapat nato hinumduman kay tanan to sila main points when it comes to this model. And as you can see sa akong slide, nay duha ka bullets. And the first bullet, let me read. It stated there that Ralph Waldo Emerson once said that the most of the shadows in life are caused by our standing in our room sunshine. Okay siya nga quote kay relatable kay siya sa kini nga model because the school seek a lot of opportunities in their program, in which PROVUS'S discrepancy evaluation model are one of the many ways that the school considered when it comes to curriculum assessment and improvement. The school cast the shadows, or let us consider that shadows as discrepancies that may hinder the school's dream to deliver a good quality program. In order to cast the shadows, the school look for a sunshine, or let us also consider that sunshine as an opportunity to continuously looking for what may go wrong. The school will let the sunshine or opportunities because the school knows that it will prevail the shadows or discrepancy. And the second bullet, nakabutang dara, it stated there that PROVUS'S discrepancy evaluation model can help us be in the best way to focus more light on the many excellent features extension program already have. Kung sa business model pa na, to value chain model, full production at the last cost. So in conclusion, sa kini nga model, kay gina-enable niya ang curriculum evaluators and administrators to look for the ways on how curriculum satisfies the set standards. And I guess that is Mara na ako ang report. So, this is the report of the group 1. Thank you for listening, everyone.